Police on Guard. I'm retired law enforcement, 35 years, as Lana alluded to. And I'm BC representative of Police on Guard and hold a position on our board of directors, etc., etc. We're extremely busy, to say the least, and I'd like to thank Svelana for inviting Police on Guard here today. So who are we? Anybody heard of Police on Guard?
No.
Look at our website. Awesome, thank you. Good doctors in the house as well. To those who haven't heard of us, we are Police on Guard for thee. We formed Police on Guard in December 2020 after 2 active duty police saw what was going on across the country, specifically the incident in Calgary. This involved teenagers that were outdoors playing hockey on a frozen pond. Imagine that. So these guys were exercising their freedoms and rights. This did not sit right with these 2 founding members, nor any freedom-loving Canadian. So Police on Guard is an organization of active and retired law enforcement right across Canada. Incidentally, any law enforcement in attendance today, active or retired, stand up, please. Big round of applause, please, sir. Thank you for your service. So this includes federal, provincial, municipal police. We have military, sheriffs, Canadian Border Services, corrections, fire departments, and members of all ranks. I'm delighted to share that we currently have more active than retired law enforcement, and our team is very busy vetting new members daily. We can't keep up vetting them. So yeah, you can learn more about us at policeonguard.ca. We have many excellent resources on our site, and you can sign up for our newsletter if you haven't done so already, so you can keep up to date with information, news, and what we're doing. So we're involved in many campaigns. We have 2 court applications that we've taken through our lawyer, Rocco Galati, of the Constitutional Rights Center. You've heard of Rocco? Right on. So our first one is against the Government of Canada, Ontario government, and 5 police municipals. So in that application, we are seeking clarification to the validity of the unconstitutional mandates that place active law enforcement in conflict with their sworn oath when being asked to enforce these mandates. Our second court application is with the federal employee lawsuit, which we partook in, again with Rocco Galati. We are excited to inform everybody that the federal employee lawsuit is now proceeding to the next steps. This lawsuit involved thousands of federal and federally regulated employees that were affected by mandatory jabs in context with their employment. So our billboard campaign is very successfully running across Canada. Digitally, static, and just released our billboard trucks. You may have seen them out there. These boards are massive. We are now able to get into the GBRD where we could not previously due to censorship. We saw one digital billboard in Port Coquitlam. That's so you know about that one. And they took it down the next day. Pressure from above, right? So all these boards in BC currently, they cannot be touched. They're up, they've been running successfully, and they're going to be up for the next 6 months.
Yay.
Thank you. And our truck boards, they're going to be running throughout the Lower Mainland for 3 months. So all these boards are made possible with the generous supporters of Police on Guard. And you can donate by visiting our website under the Donate tab. So you effectively have your name on these boards through your generous support. So our mission statement is this: that is active and retired police officers, to honor our oath, to uphold the Constitution of Canada, and to the best of our abilities, preserve the peace, prevent offenses, and discharge other duties as a police officer faithfully, impartially, and according to law. To continue to serve and protect the public while remaining independent of political influence. That's a big one, guys. Independent of political influence.
Amen.
So as law enforcement, all of us joined because Police on Guard, we saw these measures that were in conflict with the oath that we have swore to uphold. That oath is important. That oath is paramount. And we are standing on that oath. After speaking with Svetlana and being invited to attend and join with you all, I naturally accepted. We are all in this together. And all of us in attendance today are demonstrating that we are and will continue to stand together advocating for the rights of all Canadians in the fields and areas of our expertise. We are in a war, not only for our lives, but spiritually. I'm comforted by these words. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, sound mind, and understanding.
Amen.
Not only are these words important, especially what we've witnessed over the last 2 years, and moving forward, we see many being led astray by the mainstream media who are perpetrating the global agenda. The only thing for evil to continue is for good men and women to sit back and do nothing. We are not sitting. I can assure you this.
Yay!
Every frontline worker and all the first responders that are here today in attendance that have lost their jobs, lost their careers, and are standing here for the right to choose, please raise your hand. You are all heroes. Know that we see you, admire you, we thank you, and most importantly, we stand with you. We stand united as health and safety professionals, collectively bound by our respective oaths. It's refreshing to see the work and efforts of Ezra Wellness and every professional who are involved in making this a reality. So what about all these mandates we're seeing come down the pipe that seem to change by the day and weeks? Can the government justify laws that limit our Canadian charter rights and freedoms? Short answer is yes. This is generally known as reasonable limits clause. However, such limits must be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. The famous Oakes test places the onus on the government to prove why such limits are necessary. Do the present orders, mandates, and bylaws presently be given to limit our rights pass the test? Let's look at that briefly. Oakes was created by the Supreme Court of Canada. The test interprets Section 1 of the Charter Rights and Freedoms, which states that our rights are guaranteed, subject only to such reasonable limits that can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. That means the government must establish that the benefits of a law outweighs its negative impact, that is a violation charter right. The test, Oakes follows pressing and substantial proportionality analysis in 3 subgroups. A, rationally connected to the law's purpose. B, minimally impaired. A provision that limits a charter or right will be constitutional only if it impairs a charter as little as possible or is within a range of reasonable supportive alternative. And C, proportionate effects. The Oaks test is employed every time the government tries to defend a restriction on the charter rights of Canadians. The test provides a mechanism for the courts to balance, on one hand, the government's ability to achieve its goal, and on the other, the protection of individual rights. The balance test is now considered a cornerstone of Canadian constitutional law. So how do we see that being played out today? In a word, lawlessness. We can only be the true north, strong and free if we're willing to stand on guard for thee. And that means every single one of us has to stand up and get involved. You're all doing that by being here today. We all have a sphere of influence in making a difference, and each one of you are doing this. And I thank you for that. At Police on Guard, we are standing against these unconstitutional mandates, and we will not back down. We will not back down until we see the balance of our rights and freedoms restored. In conclusion, Police on Guard members are working diligently right across Canada, ensuring all Canadians of our promise we made and our promise to serve and protect. We will not back down. If you asked me 2 years ago if I was going to be doing this, standing in front of all you guys today, never thought it. I thought I was going to sail into retirement, but that oath is never retired. Our oath to uphold the Constitution, uphold the Charter rights and freedoms for all Canadians never ends, even at retirement. This is not only our oath, but this is our promise. And in keeping this promise, we will not back down. That's a guarantee. Thank you all. God bless. I'm happy to answer any of your